Talk Sunday. For those of you who might not watch the broadcast regularly, let me try and explain. On Sundays, what we do is try and talk about what went on during the week and then do some work just to regroup and start the week anew. So that is a really important thing to do in your life, which is life throws all sorts of different things at us. And some of them are important things and some of them are not so important. And it's how much value we give to them that makes them affect us in different ways. So I'm going to talk a little bit about something that happened to me this week. But in the meantime, for those of you wondering what's with the boxes, I'm in the process of downsizing my house. And that's been a long process and will continue to be. And the other thing is that I am just checking, that I am here. Hi, Kerry. For those of you who are not regular viewers, just understand that what we do is we start the first part of the broadcast off just doing news, views, and updates and things because we're like an extended family and we care about one another. Hi, Jody. And then what we will do is get into the main topic. So if you're watching this on the replay, you're going to find below two different times. One will say, hi, Charlotte. One will say 00 to a certain time, news, views, and updates. And then it'll have another time and say the topic. So, hi, Amy. Good to see you. So just understand, if you want to go straight to the topic and not hear the updates, then that's where you go. And did I do it again? Yes, I did. For the second time, I managed to start my broadcast without my headphones on. So let me see if I can get my headphones back on. And the reason is, there we go. Is that a different quality? Starting now, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It should be. Anyway, so here's the thing. Hi, Linda. And first of all, while I look at Linda's name, and before I forget, she went and got lucky. And I found pictures, and please could you make a note, Jody, for me to put the pictures up if Linda gives us the okay, of Lucky. It turns out he's a border collie. Well, what's not to love with a border collie? It's just like such a great dog. And I was just saying that I believe that the border collie is the most intelligent of all dogs. Okay, we got the okay to put the pics up. And I've had a number of them in my life, and I can only tell you my only memories of them were awesome. It wasn't just that they were a great dog. They were awesome dogs. And I think I've had 3 in my life. And then Bud, hi there, Zoo. And Bud was a cross German Shepherd border collie. So, and then Bean, who knows what Bean was? We're still trying to work it out. Hi there, Island. Good to see you as well. All right. So for those of you ghosting, that means that you may be watching the program live, but choosing not to come into the room itself to chat. We love that. No problem at all. We've had all sorts of people who've done that for many months before they came into chat. For those of you who are concerned about coming into chat because maybe everybody can see the chat, they can during the broadcast. That is fact. However, once the broadcast is finished, I disconnect the chat. Now, I must admit, on the last one I did on Friday evening, I forgot to disconnect the chat. And luckily, I think it was Beth that reminded me that I hadn't done it. So I'm very fortunate that I've got people who know that I normally do it very quickly. When they notice it hasn't been done, they remind me. Yay, because I'm not perfect. I'm not sure about you guys. All right, so ghosters, you are welcome. And for those of you who may need some help, please let us know. We have all sorts of incredible people here who form different support groups for people. And if you would like some help, write to me at DearMamaSal@gmail.com, and we will hear the story, and I will try and match you up with somebody who understands your story, either is going through it or has gone through it and got out the other side of it. So that is a really important thing to know, that you are not alone. I think almost everybody in this room will tell you that one of the greatest things in life is to know you're not alone in this. You need a hug and a nap, Kerry. Do you want to tell us why? I do too. I need a big hug today. So, but do tell us why so we can support you in that. And while she's typing, if you are new to the broadcast, please on YouTube, there should be a little bell up in the top right-hand corner. If you click on that, it will always tell you when I'm about to go live, if you would like that. The other thing is, please follow DearMamaSal on Facebook and on Twitter, because that's where I give updates to people of what's going on with different people. Now, some of you will have seen the pictures I just put up of Matthew and Christy's view out of their... Did any of you see that on Facebook? Did I get a hug as well, guys? I'd really need one today. Anyway, never mind. I'll just carry on. So what I was going to say is that Christy and Matthew have literally got a view of that Reading fire out of their window. I think it's the Reading fire that they can see. So literally, if you haven't seen it, I put a picture up on Facebook. And I also just wanted to say that for those of you who know Andrea or Andrea, however she pronounces it, from Berlin, I do have pictures of her baby girl, and I'll put all that information up as well. If Jody could please remind me and make sure that I do it, because I've got a lot going on in my mind at the moment. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. So, in terms of, does anybody need any help? Just, I mean, other than the normal that we know about, has anybody got anything new that we need to support you on? Okay. So there's nothing wrong with Kerry. She just needs a hug. That's good to hear, Kerry. And yeah, we'll send you one right now. And did you also, did everybody see, I put it up last week, that Lizzie has opened up a dog bandana store. And so that's really important. Who did we hear from this week that, I think we heard from somebody we haven't heard of for a long time. Kerry. I prefer Steve. Do any of you remember I prefer Steve? Used to comment a lot on the vlogs, and she came out of the woodwork this week, which was great. And I don't think we've seen her in a couple of years. And did any of you see, and actually I should get that picture onto my Facebook page as well. If any of you have not seen Erin's picture of the lightning hitting her father's house, that is a mind-blowing picture. And again, Jody, can you please remind me to get permission to put that up so people can see it? Because I said to her that she really needs to get that framed. That is a most incredible picture. And I think what shocked me was the size of the lightning bolt, and that her father and his girlfriend lived through it, because that could have just blown the house up. It was, when you saw the size of that lightning bolt, it was huge. Yeah. And, the most peculiar thing was there was somebody in the street taking pictures of the lightning and saw it come down and just caught it in the right time. Hi, Trina. Good to see you. Yes, it's a long weekend here as well, I believe. Although I must admit, now that I'm retired, I don't take as much notice of it. Yes, my head is aching as well, Kerry. So you've got it from eye strain and lack of sleep. So the surveys you're doing are part of your new work? Is that right, Kerry? And just so that you know, I am pronouncing Trina's name Trina because she advised me that's how it's pronounced. You forget about the O, apparently. It is a long weekend, Charlotte. Thank you. Here in Canada. Yeah. I think, yeah, I'm sorry to hear that you've got a headache as well still, Jody. I know mine really feels like it is barometric pressure, where the barometer is dropping. We're due probably for rain or something, but it was really, really difficult. For me, I don't know about anybody else, but I've had it going on for days now, and I can't get rid of it. Yeah, I keep taking the good stuff, but it doesn't get rid of it. Never mind. Don't let me complain. I am a lot better off than an awful lot of people. Right. Anybody had any success with one step at a time? What have you done that you're proud of yourself? What do you want to do that you'd like us to check up on? Linda, I believe I've got it right that you finished the Tupperware. And what cupboard do you want working on next? Oh, you won't be working on anything. You'll be working on Lucky, right? That's your new. Well, let me see. You've had toothaches. Ireland's had toothaches since Thursday. Yeah, isn't it? Yeah, I want to tell you something. That's always the case, isn't it? Has anybody else noticed that if you're going to get toothache, it's going to be at a weekend and probably on a long weekend. By the way, what I have discovered, because I needed it once, wow, Linda, she's done the Tupperware, she's done the shredding, and she's done the filing of the paperwork. That's awesome work. The house cleaning, not so much. Well, this week, I know you're going to be playing with the puppy. How old is Lucky? Do we know, roughly? Yeah, I think what I was going to say to you, what I would recommend to you is if the anti-inflammatories don't work, you know that you can always go to emergency and they will have an on-call dentist. Do you know that? Yep. So, I mean, I had to do that once where I literally was having such trouble, such pain, that I went to the emergency and they called the on-call dentist, who just happened to be mine, which I was very pleased about. And, he and I just chatted, and he knows my tolerance for pain. So he knew that if I was standing in emergency complaining of pain, and I probably was in excruciating pain, and he actually immediately prescribed some pretty heavy dose stuff for me and said, if this doesn't ease off in the next 2 hours after you have taken these, you phone me directly. This is my home number. And he would have come in and sorted it out. Wow, Trina managed to get some me time and spent a few hours reading a book, sitting on the beach. Did me the world of good, just fresh air and quiet time. I cannot tell you how much getting out of the house and being in nature, how much good that does you. Yes, Sue. Sue's saying that not all ERs have dentists. I quite agree. But most ERs, and you need to check this out, you can do it with a simple telephone call to your local hospital. Most ERs have a dentist on call. All right. In other words, my dentist wasn't there, but he was on call, and he happened to be, funny enough, in the States at the time, and I live in Canada. And he just made a long distance call to back in to find out if he needed to come and help me. So even though they don't have a dentist there, being on call means that they're within a telephone call away, so the dentist can discuss with you what level of pain you've got, so they can prescribe what you need. They can give you the drugs that will take you out of pain until you got a chance to get it fixed. So that's just my experience. And I'm sure that it's different in every country. But I just would recommend that you find out, all of you. In the case of an emergency, can you get painkillers from your local hospital if you are in severe toothache problems? All right, so here we go. I'm going to do a time check for 15:30. And today's topic, as usual, is Soul Work Sunday. And the reason that we do this is that I'm pretty sure that all of you have had things that have been getting hi there, Amel. How are things in Tunisia? I'm pretty sure that you've all had things that upset you this week at somewhere or another. I want to make sure that what we do is we concentrate on those things, but concentrate on letting them go. Because as we said and continue to say, it is how much value we give to them that turns up how painful it is for us to deal with these things. And so as we go through this process, just think about what's upset you this week and just try and let it go if you can, all right? And here's a quote from a guru that I really quote a lot, the Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. And he said, "We are not here to survive and live long. We are here to live and know life in its multiple dimensions, to know life in its richness and in all its variety. And when a man lives multidimensionally, explores all the possibilities available, never shrinks back from any challenge, rushes into it and welcomes it, rises to the occasion, then life becomes a flame and life blooms." So what I keep saying to people, and I'm sure you'll all have been through this, we can have some really great days, but that's not life. Life is made up with some good ones. And then we can have some really bad days, but that's not life, because life always has some bad days. And then we have some ho-hum days. And what the Bhagwan is talking about here is it's when we can embrace all of them, when we can look at the good ones. Yes, Kerry, absolutely. Life is in the messy bits, right? Life is not just in the good days. Life is that Linda saw a dog being abused and took action, even though it was not in her daily plan, and she has more than enough to deal with. But, she said, "I don't care how busy I am, I'm going to save that dog." That is living life to the fullest. And I would challenge you that I'm pretty sure that the amount of love that dog, Lucky, will give to Linda will totally make up for, the time she spent going to get him. And he is the cutest looking dog. And for those of you who like border collies, it's the black and white sheepdog, not the sheepdog with long hair, but the really, really fast one that you see so much. Life is a pick a mix. You just don't know what you're picking. Yes. And, I like to think, I don't know if any of you some of you know this of me. I look at the bad days very carefully because I believe each of the bad days are there to teach me something. And I had a number of things that were really weird yesterday. And I got angry. And I don't know if any of you relate to that. Things were not making me happy, and I got angry inside. And then I punished myself. Do any of you relate to this one? I really punished myself well. I went shopping, and amongst other things, I bought a packet of cookies and ate the whole lot. Yes, Charlotte, I understand that. Anger is a choice, right? So, but what I want to do is to make sure that you all understand that with all that I know, those days still hit me as well. And I wish that I could tell you that I controlled it all beautifully. It took me a while to start getting control of it because thank you, Linda. Yes, Linda's saying, Sal, you taught me to accept my bad days and not get angry about them, and then learn what they're there to teach you. Yeah, you see, that is the whole thing. So I needed to feel the feelings. I just cannot tell you enough that you need to feel whatever it is. Yes, and Charlotte's saying it's how you process that anger and whether you learn anything from it. So I looked at both things that happened to me, and it's easy to be right. Do you agree with me? You can always find out where you were right. I have every right to be angry on this one. But what I look for is what triggered me to feel that way, and what is the real emotion I am feeling. That's what I look for. And one of them was about injustice. It was just a really bad thing. It was not fair and not done correctly management-wise. And the second thing I got really, and they both happened on the same day, so you can imagine the one compounded the other. And then the other one was, it had a taste of betrayal in it for me. And betrayal is one of my triggers, right? Injustice and betrayal are both triggers of mine. So I could see that they both had those elements to them. But was it true? That is the question. So I actually I've sorted out the one, or I've half sorted it out. The second one requires that I get out of the emotion a bit more before I sit down with that person and find out, was I correct that there was a level of betrayal in there, whether they like it or not. I want to call it. Right? Because I need to call it. It's how it felt. So yes, it's not about woe is me, although I have to tell you that is a natural reaction, Linda, right? Naturally, and I don't mind admitting that was part of me that felt very lonely because one thing happened with a very good friend of mine, and that made me feel lonely. It's like, gosh, when your own friends does something like this, that's not fun. And then something else had happened with another friend. So you can understand all these things compound. And then I just had to take a deep breath and go, something, it is what it is. Deal with it as best you can and just move on. In 5 years' time, it won't matter. So here is the next thing. So let's take a deep breath, and whatever your stuff is, men are disturbed not by things that happen, but their opinion of the things that happen. Exactly what we're talking about, right? It's not what happens to you that creates the pain. It's your opinion of what happens to you that creates the pain. So how many of you are going, yeah, that's right. So the thing isn't painful. It's how we process it that causes the pain. And I look at it and go, I can see that I have not done a lot of balancing work in the last little while. Haven't done any artwork, haven't done anything other than try and get my house downsized a bit more. And that's very emotionally draining. And so what I haven't done is I haven't balanced out, which is very dangerous for me. And for those of you who know what I'm talking about, you need to actually make sure you balance out your creative side every now and then, or go out into nature and sit up by the beach, or read a love story if that's what you need to do, because that balances you. And funny enough, sitting in front of the computer doesn't. You may think it does, but it actually doesn't. And to a large extent, because we spend far too much time looking at the computer. So to me, it's like I need to take control of my life. Does that make sense to you all? And I've got out of balance and I need to get it back. Only I can do it. Can't blame anybody else. And therefore, if I know I'm out of balance, I'm probably a little bit more sensitive to things than I would normally be because I'm out of balance. Quite simple. Okay. Gratitude helps you to grow and expand. Gratitude brings joy and laughter into our lives and into the lives of all around you. And that's somebody else I quote a lot. That's Eileen Caddy. So when we're sitting in the funk, if I want to call it the funk, it's a really good thing to do is say, okay, fine. Hi there. That is M. Hi, M. Good to see you in Ireland. It's really a good idea to just take a deep breath and go, okay, fine. I'm a little upset with people. I was going to say something else, but I'm a little upset with people at the moment. And there are people that I don't want to be upset with. And therefore, what can I do? And the answer is I can do whatever I need to do with myself, because we cannot change people, right? And therefore, I have to deal with my emotions, not with theirs. That's the thing. So I need to find a balance there. And so the first way to find balance is to be grateful for what you got. And so what are you most grateful for in life? Let me ask you that. Let's see what everybody says. What things are you most grateful for in life? When you wake up in the morning, first of all, I'm grateful to wake up. I must say that. Yes, Alan. Alan saying that he's grateful for his life. I literally wake up in the morning and go, I'm glad I woke up. And I'm still glad that I woke up, even though, I've got stuff going on. I'm still glad I woke up. Yes, Charlotte's saying health, shelter, and to be alive. Jodie's saying Lionel, that's her husband, her friends, and her faith. Yeah. Kiri's saying, I'm grateful for so many things. My mom, Dora, her dog, Mike, a roof over my head, food to eat. Yes, we have so much to be grateful for. And, I'm glad I'm not looking out of the window watching an approaching, deadly fire come towards me. That I'm very glad about that. I'm very grateful for that. And I'm very grateful that that even though that I find it difficult to downsize, that I'm literally every week just doing a little bit more. And I am, also aware that has its toll on my psyche as well. I was trying to work out, it's funny. How many of you have got a container that you keep all your spatulas and whisks and things in? You probably got it on your kitchen counter somewhere. And, it's like I'm looking at that and going, I wonder how many of those I really need. Oh, yes. Emma's saying that she is most grateful to live in a country where she doesn't have to fear for my kids' life or my family's. Yes, that you haven't had to flee away from a gang or away from terrorists or something like that. Be very grateful for that. Or how about, and then have your children taken away from you? Yeah. When you didn't know that was a possibility. It's like, wow. So, you look at it and the things to be grateful for are there every day. I'm a great believer. I don't care if your couch is a really beat up couch. Touch it every now and then and go, I'm glad to have a couch, right? You may not have the top of the line clothes, but touch them every now and then and go, I'm glad I've got clothes. So many people haven't. Or your shoes. It may not be the most fashionable or whatever, but at least you have shoes, right? Okay. So we found out that Zoo's first name is Lee. And Lee, you may have to remind me about that until I get it right. But thank you for letting me know. I will now try and call you by name. And she is grateful for her husband, her 2 cats, 5 guinea pigs, and hence the name. I've got a husband, 2 cats, and 5 guinea pigs. You know, um, 5 shifts on social media, Charlotte, on a Friday. Yes, Kerry, that's a very good thing to be grateful for. Kerry's saying, I'm grateful I can afford the things I want and need. Now, I need to make sure you all understand that Kerry is not a well-off person, right? I think that would be fair to say, Kerry, right? But she does realize that she does have enough, however much of a strain it is, to have the things that she needs. Oh, Charlotte's saying on Friday she does 5 things she's grateful for on social media. Yes, I think it's a really good idea to do that on a regular basis. Be grateful for what you have. You may not have everything. Yes, Kerry, and I wanted to make sure people understand that. She's saying, yes, I'm not rich, but I get by. And, you are so grateful. And did some of you hear in the news that they just found 11 children that were starving, living in I think in a trailer without any electricity and any fresh water? Who does that? Who does that? Be grateful. Be grateful you're not one of those children. Those sort of things make me pretty angry, I must admit. And then here we go, and you all probably know this already. Linda's saying, I'm grateful to have a front door and a back door and to keep my family safe, right? Because you can protect your family. Yes. I would say that you have a front door and a back door with a lock on it. And there's a lot to be said for a man's home or a woman's home, their castle, right? It's a very important thing to understand. And we need to have somewhere we can feel safe. And if you've ever been, in a relationship that wasn't safe or in a dysfunctional family where it didn't feel safe, where you were literally locked in with the very people that were not safe for you, then you will, be much more grateful in the future of things that are much more safe and the people who are safe. Yes, I think Kerry's saying that her home is her sanctuary. How many of you feel that way? That everything else can go on, but let me get home. Let me get home and just relax. And what made me laugh yesterday was I literally went and bought all this health food, good vegetables, good this, and then a packet of cookies. And I ate the packet of cookies. That's interesting. I was saying, what are you all grateful for today? Anything that happened today? And you thought, I'm grateful for that. Yeah. Actually, thanks, Sal. I'll use that every day now. Yes, be aware. Yeah, I'm grateful to have friends that I can get angry at. Does that make sense? Yes, Linda's saying she was burgled when she was young, and it stays with you. I've had it happen as well, Linda. Yes, that's an invasion of your privacy, and that feels horrible. Interesting. Trina can see that. She said, like you said, balance. So have the cookies too, Sal. Yeah. And by the way, I didn't just get cookies, Trina. I got my favorite cookies, which are specula, which are the sort of cinnamon allspice type cookies made in Holland. And I got a packet this big. Yeah. And I just went, okay, fine. I can enjoy these. And I need to enjoy them because my kid is calling for Dutch cookies because you understand I grew up, the early part of my life, I grew up in Holland. So specula and Dutch licorice are two go-to comfort foods for me when I'm feeling in a difficult place. Yes, it's a Dutch ginger snap, if you like. Yes, Charlotte, that's a nice way to describe it. Ireland's saying that someone burgled our house years back when I was the only one in the home. I woke up to see him peep his head into my bedroom. Wow. How did that feel? And Linda's saying she slept with her mum's high-heeled shoes under her pillow for years, so she could attack him if he ever came back. Yeah. So Linda's saying, I'm grateful that we have a family friend that's trying to help us locate a new air conditioner today. Yes, poor Jody, she's got incredible temperatures coming her way and her air conditioner decided to break down. She's facing 95 degrees this coming week. Somebody do the calculation in Fahrenheit for the Canadians watching. I mean, to centigrade. 95, I would think, would be 40, somewhere in there. High 80s, anyway. Not high 80s, high 30s, I would think. Alan's saying he went run. The burglar went running without taking anything. So, but it doesn't matter. The fact that somebody invaded your private space always is a terrible feeling. It takes a long time. Almost 40. That's what I thought, Charlotte. I'm pleased that I got that guess right. It's difficult because I have to think in both official languages, the Americans and then everybody else who's changed into centigrade. 35 centigrade. Thank you. Yes, and Ireland's saying, isn't that funny how the body remembers that, Ireland? Ireland's saying, yes, for a while, whenever I heard a bang, I thought it could be somebody. Yes, that's quite normal. You will have heard me tell the story that I was driving my car once and somebody shot the back window out. The bullet went behind my head by about this much. When we worked out where the bullet had actually gone. And, every time I heard a car backfire, I was traumatized for quite a while. Yeah. Linda's saying to Emily that, Emma, sorry, that her front and back doors are locked to this day. Yeah. Yeah, but something? So I think what we're looking at is, if you look at the people in the room, we've all had strange things happen, right, in different ways. And yet we're still here and we're still trying to, move on and still trying to care about one another as best we can. Jody, I really... Has anybody bought one of those small air conditioners that have been promoted recently for about, I think they're sort of like, they just air condition the space you're sitting in, not the whole house, just the space you're sitting in. And I wondered if anybody had tried those yet. Because that makes an awful lot of sense to me, that instead of, air conditioning the whole house, just air condition the you, right? And the area around you. And I just wondered if anybody had tried one of those and whether they work as well as they say they do. I may have to buy one just to find out. Because, I like to do that sort of stuff. So, yes, but something, Jody, you have to be a little bit careful about that, because I've watched people knock those egglets You know, the things where you put the eggs into silicone type things and boil them. I've seen so many people knock those. And what they didn't do was read the instructions, because the instructions clearly state how to get those eggs out of the silicone thing. And it works like a charm. And yet when I look at it, all the people who hate it said the eggs didn't come out. And I'm going, of course they didn't come out. You didn't read the instructions, right? And, you know, they work beautifully. And then people... Oh, that is so cute, Linda. Linda's saying, I don't buy anything unless it's cell proven. Yeah, it was like, can you remember? You remember when I was trying that pineapple corer thing that day? I really did not expect that to work. Right. I really need to get my stuff together here, because I did a video of those egglet things, because I was pretty sure you guys would want to know, does it work? Now, one of the things that I found is I've got a small computer fan. Do you know? It's about this big. And the burger maker, yes, the stuffed burgers. I want to tell you, I did a bad thing with that stuffed burger maker. The reason I say that is nobody in this house wants regular burgers anymore. You know, everybody wants the stuffed burger. And they don't need the buns. I've noticed that they've said that. Don't worry about the buns. Just give me that burger. Yeah, read the directions. Yes, that's right. And by the way, I really love it, because about once a week I'll get 4 eggs, and 2 of them I will just put in there and hard boil, and 2 of them I will mix up and, you know, put different, you know, one I'll put cheese and chives in, and the other I'll put something else in, bacon. You know, and then I'll cook all 4 together. They, you know, just fill up the pan so that you've got about an inch underneath them that they can bubble. And, you know, it's amazing. I just love them. And then I've got them in the fridge. You want some more Halogon Sal? Really? It's funny, isn't it? They are still my top videos, I think. Now the top video is still the windshield wiper, and then the Swiffers, and then the halogens. Yep. Now, that was a decision. Okay, now here's a discussion we can have. I just want to read a quote there first, right? And it says, if one desires a change, one must be that change before that change can take place. So you understand, I'm thinking about downsizing, seriously downsizing, like by probably 5/6. You know what I mean? Is that bad? Well, think about it. I'm going to go from 2,500 square feet down to 500. And so now what I'm thinking about is, you know, I was saying about the spatulas and the whisks and everything else. I've probably got 4 or 5 spatulas, 3 or 4 different sized whisks, you know, from a big one down to a small one. And I got an electric beater as well. And then, you know, and yeah, how many lifters have you got? You know, and so everything that I'm looking at, I'm going, if I have to get rid of half of those, which ones would I keep? Now, the question that I have was, I'm pretty sure I would keep my halogen oven. Even if I don't use it very often these days, I still would keep it, because there is nothing like being able to pull a roast out of the freezer and stick it in a halogen oven and have it ready to eat, like you've been cooking it, you know, for hours, and it'll be ready in a couple of hours. Amazing. And succulent, you know, and juicy, and, you know, not dried out and nasty, just really great. So I'm pretty sure, even though I've only got 500 square feet, I'm going to make room for the halogen. It might get stored underneath somewhere, so I just bring it out when I want it. I also definitely, how many of you agree with that? I would definitely take my slow cooker. So the same as we're grateful for, the things in our life that we've been discussing, have a look at everything that you have that makes your life easier. I was busy trying to work out how to downsize my fridge, and some of you heard me say on Friday's broadcast that I have stuck, empty milk jugs, the gallon milk jugs, into my fridge so that I teach myself not to fill up my fridge so much. Now, Linda's saying that she got a Hal. She used her Hal for years, but it had a name change to a Sal's Hal. Right. So Jody's saying she doesn't want to be without her slow cooker. I'm thinking about that because today I really wasn't in the mood for cooking, and I'm going, it's Sunday, you got to cook. So I'm thinking, what can I cook? And I literally grabbed some pre-cooked beef. In other words, we'd had roast beef, and I'd actually, taken it and sliced, actually turned it into chunks and frozen it in chunks. And I got those out of the freezer. I fired up the slow cooker, and I made a sauce, listen to this one, of gravy, pesto, and mango chutney. Oh, that is so cute. Linda's saying, pizza for tea? the men in her life go, is that in Sal's Hal? They want to know. Anyway, so what I've done is I got it slow cooking in a base of gravy, but that gravy has added to it mango chutney. And then I will taste it when I finish the broadcast and add different things to it. And depending on how it tastes, I might actually also add some pineapple to it. And then serve it over rice. And, rice with finely chopped vegetables in it, which I will do when I finish the broadcast. But what I love about the slow cooker, it's just like, it's possible to do that. And that's why when I literally like cooking a roast for that reason, because it not only feeds me today, but the leftovers will do another Sunday, when I want it, or last me during the week. And I put mine, as you know, I put mine into mason jars so that I can literally take a mason jar out and put it in the toaster oven and warm it up, from frozen. Yeah, Trina's saying slow cooker. I wouldn't be without mine either. I put it on low in the morning, go to work, come home to a lovely dinner smell, and doing pork loin. Yeah, and it comes out like, it does, doesn't it? It comes out like pulled pork. It falls apart. By the way, have you tried it with blueberries, Trina? Put a little bit of balsamic vinegar in, and some plum sauce and a cup of blueberries. And I want to tell you something. It's something about, the sweet and sour, the sort of the tartness of the balsamic vinegar, and then the blueberries. And I'm not a big blueberry fan, but I want to tell you, when I did that day, if I'd had that in a 5-star restaurant, I would have gone, gosh, that's really nice. How did they do that? It shocked me how good it was. So that's why I like to sort of, yeah, it really is. It's very simple. It didn't need a lot. And you probably know how to make gravy anyway. So, but also, I found when you take meat that's been frozen, cooked and then frozen, and you just heat it up in a sauce, it's already so tender and awesome. So it's really good. Anyway, so definitely. So, all right, any other gadgets in your kitchen? I would definitely take my magic bullet. I use that at least once or twice a day, sometimes a lot more. But I don't think I could happily live without my magic bullet. Okay, Linda, sleep well, honey. Thank you for being here. We know it's an incredible time of the day and night. It's 1:20 a.m. there. Sleep tight, honey. Thanks for being here. Just know that when you go to catch up, you catch up from 50 minutes and 10 seconds. That's where we're at now. If you want to catch the end of it. All right? Yeah, have fun with Lucky. Give him a big hug from us. Okay. So, this is what I'm doing. Let me ask you something. If you could, I was looking at my mugs. How many of you have got enough mugs to feed an army or to, give beverages to an army of people? And I was looking at them and saying, if I were only allowed to keep, a dozen mugs, even a dozen would be a serious downsizing for me. Do any of you relate to that? It's like, which ones would I keep? Well, guess what? Guilty, yes. That's why I'm talking about this. Let's get our sense of humor back, right? But which ones would you keep? And I realized the ones I would keep are the ones that, I use for the DearMamaSal mugs, because they're all nice size mugs. I also use them when I'm chopping up vegetables and things. I will take one of them down and I'll just throw the bits that have to go into the compost into them because they're big enough. They're multifunctional for me. Yes, that's right. Amy's saying, and that's what I'm saying, Amy, I got that problem as well. And that's, I've just given away, I've already given away, I would think at least 2 dozen mugs already. And I still am doing it. Right. So Amy's saying we got rid of our collection when we moved from our apartment to our trailer. We had enough to provide the Salvation Army. That's right. You could actually hold, a tea party for people with them. So, yeah, I'm doing the same thing. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the better ones and put them in my backup trailer, not the one I'm about to buy. How big is your trailer, Amy? Well, you see, here's the thing, Jody. You've got 18 Disney mugs from the 90s. Now, that means that they're valuable to somebody, right? So do you use them or have you just kept them because they're a memory for you? I still have a mug from when the men walked on the moon. I don't think I'm in a hurry to get rid of it. You know what I mean? Somebody cracked the handle and I've put the handle back on. Good night, Charlotte. Enjoy your walk, honey. Somebody cracked the handle on it, but I stuck it back together and I will keep that probably until the day I die. I keep pens and pencils in it. What I'm trying to do any of you relate to this? What I'm trying to do is to give myself a little box or container and say, all right, you can keep all the pens and pencils you want in this container. For example, do any of you get your Q-tips in the Q-tip box that is a very useful size? And, I literally will paint that, into my famous gray paint. And then what I will do is say, you can keep as many pens and pencils as you like, but they no more than fit in that box. See, that's the sort of mentality. Plus, it now has a place. This is where pens and pencils go. That's what I'm trying to do with things. I'm trying to think what else. How many of you, and you know what I'm really bad at, or good at? It depends how you look at it. I really am good at having backups of things. Do any of you relate to that? So, I didn't have to think twice, do I have mango chutney in the house? Because I know as soon as the previous bottle ran out, I would have taken the bottle that was already in the pantry and put it into the fridge, because that's now the one I'm going to use. And then I would have gone out and bought the backup one. Do any of you relate to this? And guess what? That's exactly what. There was a nearly empty bottle in the fridge, and I just went to my backup pantry, and there it was. There was the next one. So, so it's just that certain things I don't want to run out of. And yes, Jody, I quite agree with you. Jody is saying backups. Who needs 8 lip balms? Well, apparently Jody does. The same thing, Jody, is I must have had 32 different lipsticks, at least, right? I think I'm down to about a dozen now. That's what I keep doing, is every week I go, if you could only keep 11, which one were you going to throw away? And that's what I try and do. And then next month I'll go, if you could only keep 10, which one are you going to throw away now? Just keep doing that to yourself so that you're not overwhelmed by that decision. Now, here's another thing. I'm thinking about, I've got all my everyday plates, but will I keep one good set of plates? One good set. Yep. Jody has downsized to about a dozen lipsticks. Yep. Now, the other thing is this, Jody, and you are really creative. Have you learned how to turn the leftover lipstick into a new lipstick so that you can empty the ones that you have half used and make a full one out of it? That's a really interesting video to watch. Or take the lipstick bottoms, the bit that's left, you melt them, really. So you put them in what to melt them? Do you do that in the microwave or on the stove? See, I love this program because we always learn something. Ireland, you probably don't want this, but never mind. You can tell your girlfriend. Who did that video? I don't mind who did it. I just want to know how to do it. So I'm sure that we can all, put it into YouTube and find it. All right, she does it in 5-gram clear cosmetic jars. Melt in the microwave very slowly. Yes, at what temperature? Or do you do it like in a minute at a time or 30 seconds at a time? Okay, so that's the first step. Yeah, put it all into a clear cosmetic jar. Is that plastic or glass? Or does it not matter? I've turned my lipsticks, the end, the bottom bit of my lipsticks, and added Vaseline and made lip gloss from it. I've done that quite a bit. Yeah, I guess we can all search it. There have to be enough videos on it. So, all right. So that's a really good idea. So this is, if you've got 4 halves, maybe make one whole with a completely original color. 50% power, clear glass bowl, 7 seconds at a time. Everybody got that? All right. So Jody, we've now got it melted. Then what do we do? You just pour it back in one of these that's empty. That would be too easy, wouldn't it? How many of you agree with me? No, Sal, that would be too easy. Jody's saying, pour it into a 5-gram cosmetic jar. I thought we started with that. I'm going to have to watch the videos. But good to know. And it sets up like gloss. Excellent. So what you're saying is you end up with it in a 5-gram jar. So you're not turning it back into hi there, Kerry. So, you look at it, and that's a really good thing to know. I'm certain that'll help a lot of people, Jody. Very good idea. So that's my next question. And then literally everything you do in your house, look at it and say, well, if I could only keep, here's another one. I don't know if any of you relate to this one. How many vases or vases do you have in your life? All right. Because I know I packed about 3. And then I went, really? And you're not going to have a garden anymore. So therefore, what are you going to put in them? But I probably will still keep them. 0. You have absolutely none. Okay. Thanks, Jody, for doing stellar work. And do I have any other moderators online, just in case this starts to blossom out? Let me see who I've got online here at the moment. So we're just going to take it easy here, Jody, and keep doing what you're doing. If I have to, put somebody else in as a moderator, I will. And perhaps you guys can let me know who's prepared to be a moderator in case we need it. We've only got half an hour to go, so that's good. I love this quote. I don't know about the rest of you. It says, be outrageous. People who achieve mastery have the ability to be outrageous. Thanks, Trina. How many of you go, we spend so much time being safe, right? Instead of just going for it. Our fear stops us from doing things. So what is it that you need to be outrageous about this week? Anybody? Yeah, something I just went, I like that. Be outrageous. So to me, it's like, I'm looking at this trailer that I'm thinking about, this big luxury fifth wheel thing that I'm thinking about moving into. And, it's an outrageous thing to do in lots of ways, because it's so much change. It's not just change of environment. It's not just change of all those sort of things, but it also is totally change of lifestyle. And I was actually there yesterday, and what I was amazed at is how many people just automatically wave at you. And I'm going, I sort of like that. and it was just, you could tell which ones lived there and which ones were visiting, because the people who actually lived there, when they saw other people, they smiled and waved. And the people who were visiting seemed to be upset that there were people standing in the middle of that particular road, chanting. You could tell they were like, the people who lived there would just, sort of slow down a bit and wave and wait for them to go aside. People who were visiting, it was like, what are you doing standing in the road? Get out of the way. Yes. How many of you know that there is a free spirit inside you waiting to get out? All right. And Yes, Amy, it's interesting. She's saying that her husband told her the other day that more and more people are doing that. They're going to live in trailers. I have a very good friend of mine who's a realtor, and she was telling me that she is amazed. She said, "You're not alone, so an awful lot of people are thinking of doing that." And the reason is because it's so expensive to live today. And therefore, I would rather live small and have money to, if I need a new car, still have the money to be able to get it, or if I need to get my teeth done, still have the money to be able to do it. It's like there's a freedom in that. And I'm certainly it won't take me very long to learn within that small, to learn to live within that smaller space. Wow. Lee, otherwise known as Zoo, is saying that she has to be outrageous about making sure a bear doesn't attack her vegetable garden. It got all the peaches and plums off your trees last night. Wow, it must have been so hungry. And it's busy stocking up now, right? It's getting ready for hibernation in a couple of months. So, yeah. Do you have netting at all over your vegetable garden? The other thing is, maybe put up a warning system, maybe some tin cans or glass or something on a tripwire so that when the bear gets near it, it's going to make a noise. Irish Spring, really? They don't like that soap? Trina, I think you're going to find that this whole downsizing tiny house movement is going to catch on big time everywhere. The pans and glass don't work. Really? That's interesting. They're too smart for that now. And which state or province do you live in, Lee? She says she's got obnoxious bears there, not just regular ones. They're obnoxious ones. Yeah, a friend of mine lives on, on a mountainside, and she still has problems with. You live in New York, and you've got trouble with bears in New York? Are they human bears? All right, the next quote is from Dennis Waitley, if any of you know of Dennis Waitley. And he said, expect the best, convert problems into opportunities, be dissatisfied with the status quo, focus on where you want to go instead of where you've come from. And most importantly, decide to be happy. Knowing it's an attitude, a habit gained from daily practice and not as a result of payout or payoff. How many of you are waiting for happiness to arrive at the door? I'm feeling pretty sad. I need happiness to arrive now, and not realizing that only we can make happiness. It's a personal thing. We need to do it every day. I had a non-happy day yesterday, and that was okay. But today it's like, okay, I need to get my act together and get happy again, because that's my responsibility, not somebody else's. I was saying to the viewers on Friday that, I've put on a whole lot of weight that I'd spent a year taking off, and I put it all back on again. And, this is about time for me to take control again. And yet it's happened even though I'm counting my calories. I don't get it, but it's happening. Okay, so Carrie's saying, decide to be happy. I don't even know how to begin that. Yes, something though, Carrie, it's a process. It is a process. Literally you have to catch yourself in your negative thinking. Or you don't have to, you may choose to. And that's what I do, Carrie, on a daily, hourly basis. I go, what mood am I in? Right? Yeah, Amy, all the best. Sorry that your internet's not good enough, but enjoy the rebroadcast. And by the way, Amy, rebroadcast will start at 1 hour and 10 minutes for you, all right? If you want to make a note of that. That's where you'll catch the end of it. And so, right, so Kerry's saying, oh boy, I bet you people relate to this one, Kerry. Kerry says, I intend to lock myself away so I don't hurt others. Yeah, until your emotion gets under control. But the interesting thing is, if you do it for more than 24 hours, you need to be aware that it's time to find somebody safe that you can vent to. You know, if you can't get control within 24 hours, then you need somebody you can vent to. You need to get angry. For so many times during broadcasts, I've said it is my belief, my belief, that depression is anger turned inwards, where you're not letting it out because that's bad manners, or maybe I'm being stupid or whatever. So you keep it in. And that is, in my view, what creates depression, because then your mind starts to fester and do things with things. So my rule is, if I haven't sorted it out within 24 to 48 hours, then I need to find somebody to vent it to, somebody that I trust, so that I can get that nasty stuff out. You know, but what I like, Carrie, is that you can see that you do that. Yeah. And by the way, I also do that if I've got friends around me and I'll go, I just want to warn you that I'm having a tough time. So if I overreact to anything, just, you know, understand that I'm having a tough time at the moment. Yes, or burn it off in a walk or a run, or go sit on the beach and read a book and get amongst people. Sitting at home festering about it definitely doesn't do it. Yeah. You know, one of the viewers is saying, right, I'm always functioning at some level of depression. I just don't want to be a weight that other people have to carry around. Yeah, but you know, I think there's a difference, viewer. I think there's a difference between being a weight that other people carry around and learning to vent. You know, literally, you know, whether it's write to me and vent away, you're going to feel a lot better. Or if you know, have friends here online, you know, have people that you can vent to. Very, very important, because it just, like, if you haven't got control within 24 to 48 hours, then say to yourself, okay, now I need to find somebody and tell this story because I am angry. And, you know, the trick is to go, what am I angry about? Why am I angry about it? And what is the trigger for me here? All right. So how many of you are learning to process this now? So what I found was, when I got triggered twice, let me give you an easy example. Yeah, it's a pleasure. I'm going to give you an example here, just so that you can know. I'm some of you know, I'm part of an online big multiplayer game. And my group of people decided to join another group of people. And it was on the condition that all the people moving over would keep their titles, you know, because it's sort of like a hierarchy thing. And then when we moved over, all the other people got the titles and they dropped me. They didn't give me a title that I deserved. And it was okay. I went, okay, fine. You know, you can't keep me down. I'm not that sort of person. You know, I'm a serious player, so you're not going to be able to keep me down. So I wasn't particularly worried. So sure enough, within about 5-6 days, I was promoted. And I knew I would be, because, you know, I'm a good player. Now, what happened out of the blue, early this morning, I signed in. Now, I remember I'm already in a bad mood because I'm already triggered by something else. So that makes me hypersensitive. And I found out they demoted me without any discussion or without any reason. Plus, I was meant to be at a very important group meeting of the senior management, if you like, of the game. And now, because they demoted me, I wasn't going to be able to get to that meeting. Now, those of you who know me well, keeping my commitments is really quite a big thing for me. So can you see that this triggered me on a number of levels? Number one, I got demoted without being told why. Then, number two, it meant because of the demotion that I wouldn't be able to get to the meeting that I had specifically been asked to get to by some of the senior managers. Why? They like my logic, right? They like the way I think. And whenever they're hitting problems, you know who they're asking questions of in terms of ideas, it's me. So, it was just like, now I can't be there for the very people. So then I did. What do I know? I can't change what's happened. I did verbalize it. I did say to the leader, I just want to let you know that it would have been nice if you discussed this before you did it. Because I think you're going to find that 3/4 of your war generals, that is the people sitting directly below the leader, 3/4 of your war generals are going to be a little bit upset. Those are not the words that I use, but you get the idea. Little bit upset that you demoted me. And the reason I knew that is, guess what? Nearly all the most important people, the war generals in his unit now, were my people I'd moved over with originally. Does this make sense? And they're going to be royally pissed when they find out that I've got demoted without reason. Because when they need to do certain things, they will say, can you hold on here? Because they know I can be online for quite a while because I'm retired. So can you hold on here? Because I need to go and do this, but I need to be able to get back again. So could you be there to let me back in the door? And I go, absolutely. And I'll stay there for as long as they need me to until I got it sorted out. But, it was funny because I just wrote back and said, listen, you're the leader. You get to do whatever you want. True? You understand that? That's fact. He is the leader. He gets to do whatever he wants. And I said, my issue is, what a pity you didn't discuss it. And I know you didn't discuss it with your top people because they would not have let you do it. I know that. So then I just said, but you're the leader, it's up to you. And then he wrote back and said, what do you mean? And I said, well, you have to see your top people. Your top people are the people that came in and brought me with them. And who talk to me every day when they're trying to do things. And when they run out of resources and everything else, they know I've already got them all stockpiled to help them. Because that's what I do. I'm a support from behind person. So I said, you're about to, excuse my language, piss off your top management, but that's your right. But then, being who I am, I'm only responsible for my behavior. What I'm worried about is this meeting I'm meant to be at. So I wrote to the top people that I came with and who asked me to be at the meeting. And I said, just want to tell you, he demoted me, so I can't be at the meeting with you. Guess how quickly I got promoted again? It was like literally within 2 minutes, I was re-promoted. So now, how many of you can understand by then I didn't want the promotion anyway? You know what I mean? It was just like, hey, do I even want to play this game? I don't want to get caught up in this. This has happened to me twice with this leader. Why would I want to continue to work under this leader? He obviously doesn't appreciate what I do. You get it? So why would I do that? So it's just like, oh, I want to tell you, Ireland, I used to play another game where they didn't realize that I was as old as I am. And I actually made it all the way up to queen. You know what I mean? And it was like when I got there, I didn't like being queen. So I just demoted myself and sold off all my ships and everything else and just started again. You see, what I was going to say was that I play the game because I enjoy playing the game and supporting the people I like, right? I've got young guys that are really great at the game, and I like to be the person behind them that supports them. Does that make sense to anybody? That's my gift. Yeah, encouraging the people down below, but then feeding. So literally, while they're off doing all their war stuff, I'm busy collecting everything they need for when they completely nuke their army. It's sort of like. Yeah, and you see, Ireland, that is just it. So you understand the sort of thing I'm talking about. Well, guess how much those top guys value what I do, all right? I'm busy looking after the lands we own and doing all sorts of things very quietly. Yeah, well, yeah, no, that's not quite true. I'm not very quiet about things, am I? No. But anyway, so here's the thing. How many of you can see that I'd already had a hit yesterday on something that triggered an emotion? And then I got another hit when I woke up this morning. How many of you can see that's not a healthy way to start the day? And so what I had to do was go, now that's 2 hits in 24 hours. I need to look at it, what's going on in my life. So I need to identify the emotion and I need to deal with it because I'm vulnerable right now. And that's what I have been doing. So in terms of Soul Sunday, here's a nice quote. It says, love is a space in which all other emotions can be experienced. All right, no problem, Ireland. I'm going to be signing off soon. So what if I saw these things that had happened to me from a place of love? All right. And, I really did. I wrote back to the leader and I said, hey, guy, you can do whatever you like. You're the leader. That's your right. I don't have to like it. But I choose to either stay with that sort of thing going on, or I said, as I said to him, I said, my issue is not that you demoted me. My issue was, how could you do that without discussing it with your top generals? This is a management thing I was querying. And nothing else. Oh, well, I had too many officers. I'm going, it doesn't matter what your excuse is. I'm telling you, don't go demoting people without discussing it with the people that you value the most. That is a management thing. It's not about me personally. How many other people did you demote that are valuable to other people? But you just don't know it. You just, for some reason, arbitrarily decide, okay, I haven't got 10 people. I want only 5 at that level. Well, maybe you want to check which 5 you need to keep, buddy. Not just go, okay, boom. So then it got worse, if it makes sense to you. It got worse because the famous meeting that I now was able to get to again. When I went to where I was told it was going to be, there was nobody there. They did it some other way. I'm still going to find out how they did it. They probably did it on some social media thing, but I wasn't told where or how, and therefore I wasn't there for the meeting. How many of you can see that would have added to my stress level this morning? And by then I wondered whether I wanted to play the game. And then I went, that's ridiculous. I enjoy the game. So I need to just settle down here. And here is a quote that maybe helps. It says, the measure of mental health is the disposition to find good everywhere. All right. How many of you agree? The measure of mental health is the disposition to find good everywhere. So if I see negativity everywhere, if I see people setting me up, right, and betraying me everywhere, do you understand it's not them, it's me? Now, I'm not saying that the actions that they did were not relevant, but it's like if I'm having a lot of that going on in my life, I need to look at me. What am I doing that's creating this? I obviously wasn't making myself valuable to the leader. He didn't see my value. Otherwise, why would he have demoted me? Well, what he didn't know was what I was really up to, because if he knew, he wouldn't have done that to me. So I know that. So that's partially on me, because he just thought I was a regular player. Yes, find the good in things to get out of a funk. Get grateful for everything. Go overboard on that. So I wondered, I don't know if these sort of real life issues help you understand what I'm trying to talk about. And I'm hoping that being vulnerable enough to show you that, this happens to me the same as it happens to everybody else. I can choose to go into depression on this one. How many of you understand that? How many of you going, yeah? I could choose. Somebody said here, oh, I would have found another group. Well, I quite like the base group I came on in with. So I just want to see how they react to all of this, because the chances are they might be feeling equally the same and move out and go and join another group, and take me with them. Yes. And Trina's saying, also find time to be with your doggies. For those of you who've got pets, pets are a wonderful way. Now I'm thinking about Dora and all the other pets that people have. I'm thinking about Taily that Jody has. She's got a little fluff ball thing called Taily. There's nothing like a pet to make you realize, they don't betray you a lot, right? And they don't get you into a funk a lot. And how quickly that's the thing to concentrate on. When your pet makes a mistake, and they all do, how quickly do you forgive them? See you next time as well, Katie. Or Kerry, it's always great to see you. Seriously, big hugs to you. Thank you. I'm glad it helped. I'm not sure what helped, but I'm glad it did. Hi, Jamie. I'm just about to go and cook dinner. Yes, you see, Jody's saying that, when a pet makes a mistake, you probably get instant, you probably go, I mean, I literally, where I was yesterday, the puppy was told to stay in the house so they didn't bother the people that were visiting. When we went into the house, the puppy had pooped in the house. Like, I'll teach you to do this to me. And it was just like, I just laughed and went, okay, I think the puppy's trying to tell you it didn't appreciate being locked in. But how long are you going to be angry with the dog? Right? The dog was smart enough to just go and hide, because, the dog knew it wasn't a good thing to do. But, the dog had every right to do it, right? You lock me in and don't allow me out. I need to poop, then I'll poop. So, I think life's a bit like that. You got to let that brown sticky stuff out, And I say it that way because I think that is what it is. You got to just let it go. You got to vent and let it go, and then get on with the rest of your life. These things are just sent to show you vulnerabilities, and we don't like that, do we? How many of you are going, yeah, I got rather a lot of those. So I look at it and just go, okay, what got triggered and why? And as long as I can understand what got triggered and why. Now, do any of you go into revenge? I'll teach you to do that to me. Because to me, that is a continuation of the negativity. So that's why I kept saying, hey, to the leader, hey, you can do whatever you like, buddy. You're the leader. What I didn't say was, and you will be paying the price for it, because I was pretty sure that whether he liked it or not, he probably was going to pay the price. He was going to lose a lot of good people that way. But that's how you learn things, right? It's not like it's not his right. He can do whatever he likes. So I look at it and go, life brings you all the lessons you need. And it doesn't matter whether it's with your friends or with your online group that you play with, or, whatever it is, life brings you the lessons you need to learn. And you'll know it's a lesson when it doesn't feel comfortable. How many of you found that one out? Why does this keep happening to me? Well, it keeps happening because you need to learn something here. And if you can't work out what it is you need to learn, talk to somebody who's lived life a little longer, and maybe they'll be able to help you. All right, everybody. So I'm going to go and cook dinner. But before I do, a couple of things. It's great, Trina. Thank you. So just remember that the way that we start the week is the way that you may want to start each day, or may want to start each hour, or for some of us, maybe each minute. I'm going to check in with myself and say, do I choose to be happy for the next hour, or do I choose to fester on these things that happened to me in the last 24 hours? Who is responsible for that? I am. And either I will treat these things from a place of love, or I will treat them from a place of anger and hate. And if I do, that's what I'm bringing to myself. So I don't want to do that. I'm going to go and enjoy dinner. And I hope that you all have a wonderful week until I see you again. Please, please, please remember to look after one another whenever you can. It's really important. But also remember, the biggest duty you have, the biggest role you have in your life is to look after yourself, because you cannot help others if you don't look after yourself. This is Dear Mama Sal saying big hugs, everybody. Great week. Bye-bye for now.